All right, hi guys. So my name is Heather Bullock, and I presented on the topic Fear Up, Tear Up, or Gear Up. Fear Up, Tear Up, or Gear Up. And I did not record my thing. I brought my little record stick thing and everything and didn't do it. Got just way so excited to be in the moment. And so I figured I could just record what I talked about. So I was not going to share my Scentsy story with everyone, but after I got to writing out the Fear Up, Tear Up, or Gear Up, I realized just how important our stories are when it comes to that specific topic. So my daughters are 15 months apart. Yes, I got pregnant with my second daughter when my first daughter was 6 months old. And at my second baby shower, we decided to have a baby sprinkle instead. And that was because I had just had a baby shower 9 months prior to. And so my family didn't really want to go do another baby shower, and it was a girl, so I didn't need a big one. And so we did a Scentsy baby shower. And this is actually the first time that I was introduced to Scentsy. And I watched as my family and friends were oohing and on over the product, but I actually got most excited when I got a wax sample in the shape of a pacifier. You would have thought that somebody gave me a Scentsy diffuser, and diffusers weren't even out yet. Okay, that's how excited I was. And then flash forward about 9 months later, I have my two daughters. I'm a full-time college student and obviously a full-time wife. And my husband and I realized that we needed to make an extra $300 a month. And I wasn't willing to give up time that I needed to spend at school. I wasn't willing to give up time with my daughters, and I wasn't willing to give up the time with my husband. And so I needed a way that I could make $300 to help us out financially without having to give up those priority things to me. And Scentsy was just the answer to that. And I had no idea that it was going to mold me into the person that I am today. I didn't know that my brother was going to be killed the same exact day that I promoted to Scentsy director, which in itself was its own very big challenge for me to overcome. And that's kind of where I had to break down how to help everyone else with how to overcome their challenges. I had no idea that I would graduate with my bachelor's in education and psychology, only to decide to pursue Scentsy full-time because I was pregnant with my son, who you'll probably see at some point behind me at this point. But I was pregnant with him at the time, and I just like, you know what, I just want this business that I'm in, I'm making almost what I could make as a teacher. I bet if I just went 100% into this and stayed home with Hudson, that would fill my cup completely. And because I still needed to have that fulfillment of working towards a goal and stuff. And then my husband and I and our family moved to Holden Beach, North Carolina. And here, because of my experience in network marketing and because of my degree in education and psychology, we were able to actually launch the youth program, the youth ministry program at our church, which was a very big deal. And if this was an Instagram post, I would have said #ButGod. And so that's my why. And we all have challenges that we sought out to solve by joining this wax business. And so you owe it to that tiny voice in your head that told you that whatever reason you decided to join Scentsy, there was probably a challenge, and you decided that this wax business could help you overcome that challenge. And so you owe it to yourself that said that you could do it to do exactly that. Because now that we joined and we're solving our first challenge, life is going to keep throwing and snowballing stuff at us, and we have to be able to navigate through that. So fear up, tear up, or gear up is our topic. And before I go into detail, I would love to demonstrate for you guys how my very first Scentsy party went. Okay, so imagine that we're in an apartment, and my hostess is my best friend from middle school. And I've literally known her since I was 12 years old. And the people in the room I have also known since I was 12. They're just her family and her friends. There's like 7 to 10 of them, not like 200 that was in the room during this presentation. And before I went to the party, obviously this was my first one, I knew nothing about direct sales other than what my sponsor Chloe Cox, had taught me. I had no idea what network marketing was. I barely knew what Scentsy was. I knew that I didn't burn my child when she split the wax on her, and I knew it could make me some money because my family was already buying it. So I went on YouTube and I did a bunch of research of what other people did and collaborated different ideas, and I wrote myself an outline for what was going to work for me. And so what I came up with was one of the major games that I still play to this day. I believe that I learned it from, oh, I forgot her name. She's on YouTube. I sat next to her when we were on our way to the 5K when we were in California. Forgot her name though. But she played the ticket game. And so basically you get raffle tickets and you hand them out to everyone. And as I set a warmer, they had to tell me what page it was on. And whatever page it was on, if they were correct, they got 2 tickets. 1 ticket they kept for themselves and 1 ticket they put in the raffle. And at the end of the show, whoever had the most raffle tickets got a prize, and whoever won the raffle got a prize. And so that way you can play as many games as you want, and it keeps them competitive, it keeps them engaged. I honestly have them fill out their order forms if they want a ticket. Like, you can do anything you want. That's the beauty of it. But so that was the game that I played. And so I also had gotten in my Scentsy Enhancement Shooting Star Kit that day. And so I used the warmers that came in my Shooting Star Kit as my highlight warmers. So if it was like the Carry warmer that came in my Shooting Star Kit, then I would use that element warmer in the catalog so that I could tell them about the element warmer, but also so that I could show it to them in person to give them like a more hands-on feel. But you could also switch that up. You could talk about the Carry warmer in the catalog, and then you could talk about another warmer that's an element warmer that you have on hand. But so yeah, I love that it was up to you on how you wanted to do it, and then molded it for what was going to work for me. And so it went a little something like this. Hello everyone, so we are going to play a game today. I'm going to say a warmer, and then you have to tell me what page it's on. And I'll give you 2 tickets, and then I explain what the ticket game was. But literally, this is my hand shaking. I was like, okay, can anyone tell me what page the Carry warmer is on? And on my notes, this is not my notes, this is like a different training I'm going to be doing for my team, but on my notes it would tell me every single warmer that I was going to say. It told me every page that it could be found on, and then I didn't know much about all the warmers because I had just started using it, and so I just used the description that was in the catalog because I figured Scentsy knew what they were talking about. And so I said, sorry, I'm looking at my notes on my computer. So someone would yell, the Carry warmer is on page 32. And I would say, yes, great job. This warmer is a part of our element collection. These element warmers use a heating element to safely warm our wax without the light, which is perfect for a time when you want the fragrance but need your room pitch black in order to sleep. Literally, guys, I was shaking the entire time, and this was in front of like maybe 7 to 10 people that I had known forever. And so it was absolutely terrifying for me to go and do something out of my comfort zone. But looking back, I can see what I did that set me up for success. And if we were in the big room right now, I had you guys share what they saw was up that I did that was correct. But I said, I know me. And I knew that I didn't know all the information about all the products. So I used the information that was provided. I didn't try to memorize it either. Spend less time preparing your head and more time preparing your heart. Okay, so if your heart's in it, you could say the wrong thing and no one really cares. I used to say Scentsy is a wickless warmer company. It's a wickless candle company. Okay, that was what people used to say. But I said warmer. Of course it's wickless. It's a warmer, right? That's not punny at all. But people didn't ever say anything because my heart and my passion was in it. And I wasn't saying it like I was lying. I thought what I was saying was good. It was knowledgeable. It wasn't. That was okay. So you don't have to try and memorize everything before you go and present it. And I had never done a Scentsy party before. And so I researched how everyone else did theirs. And then I used the resources that I had on hand. So that was the contents of my starter kit, the contents of my Shooting Star Kit, and whatever I found around that house. Those raffle tickets that I used was literally out of my father-in-law's office, and I never returned them, and I used them for like 3 more years because it was like this big old roll of them, and he didn't need them. They were just in his office, but I didn't like go and spend a bunch of money. I was like, what can I find? Here's some raffle tickets, Cincy raffle ticket games. You know, you just got to get creative like that. And so what that did though was it made it so that I had literally no excuses. So that even when my face was all red, and even when my hands were shaking uncontrollably, and even when I didn't feel confident enough, I had equipped myself for success, which made it absolutely so that I had no excuse to back out, because it wasn't lack of knowledge because I didn't have much, and it wasn't lack of product because you just got to use what Cincy provides, and your starter kit is enough. If you got Shooting Star, great, use that. And it wasn't something like money, because honestly I didn't have any, but I went, and you have family and friends, and if you don't, go join a church and go ask them for some raffle tickets. Like, they probably want to help you, I assure you. But why? Why would we push ourselves this far out of our comfort zones? Because my comfort zone wasn't bringing me joy, and it surely was not making me money. And Cincy helped me discover who I was, and it can help you discover who you are too if you're only willing to push outside of that comfort zone to what's actually going to bring you happiness and actually going to make you money. My comfort zone is sitting in my bed watching Netflix with my husband. Now, I root for the day when that will make me money, but as of right now, it's not, unless there's like some stock out there that you could do. But you know, you got to go work your Cincy business so that you can go invest your money in that stock, right? So you need to ask yourself one question, and that is your comfort zone bringing you happiness? Is your comfort zone bringing you money? And so then I gave them time to work with one another, and I asked them to, with the people next to them, whether it was one person or 5, I wanted them to discuss the challenge that they had written down in general session. And in general session, they had us write down a challenge that we are facing in our business. For me, it was balance. But I asked them to either use that one, or if they've had time to think about it and they want to choose a different one, you know, whatever challenge that they're facing in their business. That could be things like home parties, basket parties, events, sponsoring team trainings, going to reunion, which is coming up, which I hope everyone is going to. Whatever challenge they're facing, I wanted them to share that with their people who were around them. And then I wanted their people who they shared it with to come up with an action plan, to come up steps that they could do that would set them up for success. For me, that was doing all the research on YouTube, finding different home parties, seeing what other people did, and then collaborating those things to form an outline for myself. And so I wanted them to do the same thing with a no excuse mentality, meaning if I can't do that because ABC came out of their mouth, I wanted them to say, but I could do this, X, Y, Z. So that regardless, they had an action plan to overcome whatever challenge that they are trying to face in their business, because it's so much easier to tell everybody else what they should do, and instead of like yourself. And so I figured it'd be easier for your friends and your family to help you, or in this case, other consultants to help you come up with an action plan. If you're watching this on a video, then get with your sponsor, get with your director, go ask your friend. She doesn't have to be in direct sales to help you overcome how to face the fear of home parties. And I'm going to get to that in a little bit anyway. Okay. And so then they had 7 minutes to do that, and then they shared, and it was the most beautiful thing to watch. I'm going to cry. No, I'm not. Hold on. It was just the most beautiful thing to watch people, number one, overcome their fear of talking out loud, because that in itself is its own challenge. It takes a lot of courage to share and be vulnerable. But there was one lady, and she was having her first open house yesterday. So today is Tuesday, so she had her open house yesterday, and she was absolutely petrified of public speaking. And she got up during second session, and she came up and she talked in front of the room and shared that fear with them. And then everyone was clapping for her and just surrounding her with so much love and affirmation, and she was up there crying, but she did it. Fear up, tear up, meaning you're probably going to cry because it's going to get really scary, or you're going to have something else happen to you, which I'll also get to in a minute. But working through that fear, working through those tears, and then gearing up for what you need to do. And so after they shared that, I thanked them for sharing, because I knew that took a lot of courage. And fear up, tear up, or gear up. These are the 3 phases that we will go through as a consultant and as a human. There is no avoiding challenges. There is no way to be 100% mentally prepared with every answer in the book, which will kill your authenticity anyway. If you want knowledge, you're going to have to use the products. If you want to and host the parties and sponsor the team members and do all the things, and then you're going to have to mess up, and then you're going to have to learn what not to do and be okay with that. What I'm trying to say is this: challenges will come knocking at your door, and instead of hiding from them, I want you to stand up tall. I want you to, with shaking hands and all, answer the door and embrace the rush of fear that will follow. Invite your fears in. Invite them for some coffee, and while they sit there, what they say may come to pass. A real life example of that was I was trying to promote to lead consultant, and I was like $30 away. Actually, it was probably $25 away. I was like a 6-pack of bars away. And I didn't have money to buy a 6-pack of bars. I'm trying to make money here, right? Use Scentsy money on your family, not your family money on Scentsy, okay? And so I was like, you know what? My aunt has not bought for me yet. I'm going to ask her if she wants to buy. And I was like, no, I'm not. She is such a stickler for not spending money on nothing. There's no way she's going to buy it. I was like, you know what? Bump that. I'm going to ask her anyway. I got this. I am going to be a lead consultant, and I want to earn this incentive trip. And so I went and I asked her, and she straight up said no. And that just felt like a complete stab to my heart, because I felt like I was being raw and vulnerable. And I said why I needed her to do it and how awesome the product was. And she still said no. And then as I walked away, my eyes were literally welling up with tears. By the time I got to my in-laws and was telling them what happened, I was crying. Okay? But hold that thought. So, we are answering the door when our challenges come knocking. We are inviting our fears in, offering them some coffee, and having a conversation at the table about who they are and why they are here. But it's probably gonna suck. And instead of sitting there by yourself, I want you to invite your in-laws over, invite your husband over, invite your babies, your dog, your friends, whoever and whatever reminds you of your self-worth and your value. I want you to invite them over, and I want you to tell them what your current challenge is, what you're facing, and just watch, just as that girl, when she went up there, she stood up there crying and everything, share with everybody what her fears were, which was public speaking, and everyone around her just overwhelmed her with love and affirmations. They're gonna do that too, and they're gonna make you see how awesome you are. And your challenges and your fears, they want to seclude you in a little corner and tell you that you're worthless. But when we overcome that, and when we decide to make ourselves vulnerable and share with everyone else how we're feeling, all of those fears and insecurities that are facing all of our challenges start to melt away, and they become so belittled that they themselves are the ones who are walking out the door and backing off of you. And so that you can rise above your failures, and you can rise above rejection, and you can rise above your haters, and you can rise above anything and everything that makes you feel unworthy of success. And so do me a favor. At the end of this, I want you to write down your challenges, right? You should have already done that. And then I want you to have your action step. If you don't have that, make sure that's done. But then I want you to write down your tribe. I want you to write down the people who love you unconditionally, who, when life shows up, they show up too. Write them down, and the next time that you're faced with a challenge or your current challenge, I want you to share with those people as well. And just watch as they overwhelm you with love and keep you accountable, so that that voice in your head that reminds you, let them be the voice in your head that reminds you that not only can you, but that you will. So my name is Heather Bullock. I would love, love, love to hear about the different challenges that you're facing or how you've overcome them. And I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your week, and hopefully I'll see you at reunion.